Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rosie and I wanted to give you a little bit of an update video before we get on with the rest of the vlogs. So the last video you would have seen I was in Sydney, Australia. I am now in Sri Lanka. So a couple of things has happened over the last couple of days. I thought I'd give you a little bit of a story time and kind of let you know what's been going on. My eye, this eye even, is swollen. It's weird because you know when you look at yourself, this eye is swollen. I think I got bitten by a mosquito last night. I've got lots of spots, I think from eating lots of chocolate recently and foods in Australia that aren't doing my tummy any good and therefore showed up on my face. We've spent 3 days travelling. I'm also on my period, so things are going well for me right now, but I thought I would anyway go back and talk to you a little bit about the last couple of days in Sydney and then also our travels here, just to kind of tie the two in, because otherwise it's like Sydney and then Sri Lanka with no explanation in between. So I said I was going to vlog every single day in Sydney. I didn't actually end up vlogging the last 2 days, and the Sunday we went to go and see our friend that we lived with 13 years ago. So it was super nice to see him. Really weird because he hasn't changed at all. So we saw him and also met his partner, his girlfriend slash wife, even though they're not married, but they've been together for 10 years, and it was so nice to see him and catch up with him and kind of talk about the old times and see where he's up to now and what they're doing and their plans, and yeah, it was really cool. We then walked around the markets in the Rocks, which was really nice. There's lots of photographers and kind of like really cool small brands. So like somebody was selling phone cases with real flowers in there. Somebody else was selling soaps and like handmade shampoos and face washes, and there was food and just loads of different kind of creative people there, which I also like. I really love that. And then also while we were there, we saw somebody who I saw 13 years ago. So obviously I lived in Sydney 13 years ago when I met Jeremy. I lived there for 3 months, and I saw this woman on the street selling artwork that her autistic son had created. So I bought a piece. It's currently in a frame on the wall in Jeremy's bedroom at his parents' house. And so I saw her at the market and I was like, oh my God, I bought some artwork from you 13 years ago. It's so nice to see you. How's your son? And he was there. And he's quite severely autistic, so I don't know if he communicates and works and things like that. So she's still selling his artwork. She said he paints less, but yeah, it was really nice to see her again and see that she's still selling his artwork and doing really well with it, because it's incredible stuff. So that was really cool. I don't remember what we did Sunday evening, probably just chilled out. And then Monday, we had to check out of the hotel at 10 a.m. Well, it's a hostel actually. We were staying in the Maze hostel. Would not 100% recommend it at all, but it was fine. I just wouldn't really recommend it. We had to check out at 10 a.m. Luckily, we could leave our bags in the hostel while we kind of spent the day walking around Sydney, but because we had our other bags with us, so my big bag with my laptop and camera equipment and everything is really heavy. It's like 15 kilos almost. We didn't walk around too much, so we went to the botanical gardens. I sat in, like, it was raining a little bit as well, so I sat under one of the pergola things and read. Jeremy was photographing some of the birds. We went and had lunch, just kind of wasting the day, honestly. And it's a little bit of a shame because I think I was also preparing for the travel that was to come, which I'm going to tell you about, but it was kind of like, oh God, we're going to have the next 3 days traveling, so I need to like relax today and take it slow. So had a bit of a relaxing day. Ended up leaving Sydney at about 6 p.m, got to the airport about 7 p.m, and then flew at about 10 p.m. So we flew 10 p.m. Sydney time, and then arrived in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia on Tuesday morning at 4 a.m. local time, which I think was about 6 or 7 for us in the morning. I had not slept on the plane, so I was knackered. So then we got to the airport, in Kuala Lumpur, and we're like, okay, what we're going to do is get off and we'll go to a hotel and pay the price, whatever it is, we'll pay the price for a hotel and sleep. Got to the airport and got to the hotel space that there was. There was either what's it called, like an express, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a 1 bed and you get space under the bed to put your bags, like it's a tiny little cabin. But that's not for 2 people. They didn't have any space for 2 people. So we went to another hotel, and by the time we got there, it was fully booked until 8 a.m. So they said, okay, we're fully booked from now until 8. So we went downstairs, I slept on the floor for 4 hours, which was not, I actually slept all right considering, but not super comfy. So I slept 4 hours on the airport floor, then got some breakfast, did some work, got some lunch, watched some Next in Fashion, hung out at the airport because we had 17-hour layover, which was kind of crazy. Like, it's such a long time, but it actually felt okay. It actually passed I think because like we were working and then walking around, and then I was also looking at iPads. I thought about getting an iPad for myself because I've always enjoyed drawing, but I'm not very good at it. And I thought an iPad could be really cool to like draw places where we go traveling and kind of express some of my creativity that I have kind of like in me sometimes that I find hard to release. So I thought an iPad could be good, so I spent a lot of time looking at those. Didn't end up getting one. I might later on in a month or so, we'll see. Did that, and then had the aeroplane from Kuala Lumpur to Colombo in Sri Lanka. So the flight from Kuala Lumpur was at 9 p.m. It was 3 hours, but I think the time was different in Sri Lanka. Maybe, I don't even remember. This has just been a mad couple of days. So we arrived 2 nights ago in Sri Lanka, and once we arrived at the airport we didn't have any cash and didn't think about changing any cash into the currency here, so instead walked about 20 minutes to the hotel that we were staying at. This is a funny story. On the way to the hotel there was a dog at the airport that followed us all the way to the hotel. I don't know why. We didn't talk to it, didn't touch it, didn't like encourage it to follow us, but it walked with us all the way to the hotel, even to the hotel lobby. And then the guy was like, "Is this your dog?" And we were like, "No, it just followed us." And so he was like, "Shoo, shoo," trying to get it out of the hotel. And the dog sat by us and started growling at the owner. So the owner was like, "Oh my god, okay." So we were like, "Oh, sorry, don't know what happened there. Like, it's not our dog. We didn't tell it to do that, obviously." We then went up to our room, and the dog followed us upstairs, like into the hotel and upstairs. It was only like a, someone's house kind of thing. It's not like a posh hotel. The dog followed us upstairs, and then the owner came into our bedroom and locked the door behind him. And then Jeremy was like, "What's he doing?" And I was like, "He's scared of the dog." So the guy like called somebody else, and anytime he opened the door, the dog was there. So he'd like close the door and like lock it up again. So we were just a bit like, okay, well, this is not cool. So Jeremy, I was like, okay, the dog's not scared of me and Jeremy. Like, he's attached to us, if anything, even after like just a 20-minute walk. So Jeremy took the dog downstairs and locked the door so that the owner could leave our room. The room was not great. Like, we had a shower but no towels. The plug in the sink was blocked, so like I brushed my teeth and then the sink was just full of like my spit and toothpaste. What else? Oh, I killed a cockroach within the first minute of being there. 2 minutes later it was like covered in ants. The AC worked, that was fine, but it was just, there was a fridge, but the plug was like a European plug that wouldn't work in this country. So it was just loads of things were wrong with it. I was just like, this is weird. Card machine didn't work, so then Jeremy ended up paying $20 US rather than the equivalent in Sri Lankan money. Anyway, next morning we were awake at 7 a.m, so we thought, you know what, we'll get up and get going so that we can get to the hotel, like to this place, earlier. So we left at about 8, I think. It was yesterday, I literally don't remember. Walked 20 minutes to the airport and then had to walk an extra like 10 or 15 minutes to the next town to be able to get a bus. So we walked about 30-40 minutes, something like that, carrying 35 kilos of my stuff. So I had a bit of a cry halfway through. I was fed up. It's so hot as well. It's like probably the hottest place I've ever been. Ridiculously hot. Carrying 35 kilos of stuff to the bus. Got on the bus and it was like because we asked how much a taxi would be. It would cost about $20 or 20 euros, and the bus was like €1 each. So we were like, well, obviously we're going to get the bus then. So the bus took about an hour to get us to Colombo Centre, like the train station. So we got there at about 11, I think it was. Yeah, about 11, and then the train was at 2:45. So we had like I can't even do the maths, like 3 hours to wait. So we ended up putting our bags in the cloakroom and had a walk around town. Now it was super busy. We sort of crossed over the road and went to the markets and things behind, like the road behind. It's all wholesale food and fabrics. So I did take a couple of photographs I'm going to pop on screen, but I only pulled my camera out when it was quiet, which goes to show you how busy it did get, because it looks busy in these photographs, even that's when it was like quiet and calm. So that was hectic, crazy. Got some lunch, which was expensive and not amazing, and then got the train last night. So from 3:15 until about 4:45, something like that. We arrived about 5 p.m, walked to the Airbnb, got ourselves checked in, and it was a sauna in here, so sorted out the AC. This is such a boring story, I know, but it's just been like such a mad 5 days. Anyway, so last night we went to the supermarket, got some pasta, some bananas, some pasta sauce, some we've got a mango, a passion fruit, just some little bits like that, some water, just to kind of tide us over for the next, like for last night and today. Had the pasta with the pasta sauce, and it was spicier than any curry I've ever had in my entire life. So pasta sauce in Sri Lanka is not like our pasta sauce. So that was an absolute fail. Our mouths were on fire like eating pasta last night. And then went to bed quite early. We do have a net on our bed, but we thought, oh, there's no mosquitoes in this room. There was mosquitoes downstairs, but it didn't seem to be any up here, so we're like, okay, it's fine, we'll leave it. And then in the night I could feel I'd been bitten on my hand. You can't see anything there now, but it felt like all down here and all down here I'd been bitten, like it was itchy, but there's no marks today. And then I woke up with a swollen eye. It looks way better now than it did this morning. I'm going to pop a photo on screen of this morning, but it's looking better. I had an antihistamine that Jeremy had, so it's like calmed it down a little bit, but it's still going. But yeah, so we basically left our hostel on Monday morning at 10 AM in Sydney and arrived at our next accommodation last night at about 5 PM. So it was like 3 days of travel. So I'm knackered, on my period, got a swollen eye, feeling sorry for myself, and as soon as you step outside, it's an absolute sauna, like it's the hottest place on earth. So that has been the past 5 days, in a nutshell, basically. So I didn't vlog because I just thought I need to conserve my energy because I knew it was going to be tiring, and I also knew that, like, how do you vlog 17 hours in an airport? Like, it'd be so boring. So that's the update. So we're now in Sri Lanka. We're staying in Gala, something like that you say it, Gala. The guy said that in English it's Gaul, but here it's Gala, something like that. Anyway, so we're staying here for a month, and I said to Jeremy, I think I'm going to need a couple of days to like relax and get over this like mammoth journey, this mammoth like 3 days we've had. So we've had some breakfast, we've had some bananas. I do fancy exploring it because I looked on Google Maps and Gala looks like quite a nice place. We only really looked on Airbnb at places like accommodation. We didn't really look at where we wanted to stay. So yeah, it looks quite a nice place. So I think the plan today is to chill out a little bit, go and find some lunch, maybe explore a little bit this afternoon. But we've both got work to do. I've got editing to do and all the rest of it. So yeah, I'm excited to stay here for a month. I just feel like I need a day or two to like recover from this past week or so. That is the update. I don't know how interesting this video is for you, but it's just been a little bit hectic and a little bit all over the shop. So thanks for watching this video. The next videos are going to be Sri Lanka content of Gala and exploring this area. We might also be doing some like weekend trips or day trips to different parts of the country, like different towns. Jeremy's planning the Sri Lanka part of the travels, and then next we'll be going to India, so there's a lot of content to come. But thank you for watching this one. I'm sorry if it's a little bit all over the place. I'm still probably jet lagged and tired and not really 100% myself. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!